No, you won't get away. With us, you will stay for the rest of your days. Sit down. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, one and all, to the show. I, of course, am the one and only Bill Sylvie, aka the Dungeon Delver, coming to you live, loud, and clear on a Monday afternoon. And I hope it finds you well. I really do. I really, really do. Robert Phillips, great old ones, Damien X247, Bob Schult, Ptolemicus. Howdy, everybody. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Welcome to the program. Let me just jump straight to the chase. If you're new here, would you do me a favor? If you're just stopping by, if you're like, I'm going to check this out, YouTube has said this guy's going live and I'm going to check this out. Michael Dale, good to see you. And you're like, yeah, of course I like D&D. I'm a normal person. I'm a well-adjusted individual. I want to see more of this. Then click the subscribe button and click the bell icon for notifications. And in doing so, what you can do is join a madcap merry crew for 5 nights a week of TTRPG goodness with a heavy lean on the old school. We've got a lot of fun stuff that we get up to day in and day out right here on the program. We have guests. We have open discussion times like this. Alan Canning, good to see you. We have game and demonstrations. We have actual plays of TTRPGs, whether it's AD&D on Tuesdays, whether it's something that Kyle brings to the table on Wednesdays, whether it's our Friday night game, which during October, which we're in right now at the time this is being broadcast live, we engage in some horror TTRPG stuff, a little spook for the season of the witch. And I hope you guys will stick around, tune in, and enjoy what we've got to offer. But as for myself, as for today, hey, where's my sign? You get back on. You turn right back on, you silly sign. As for everything else we've got going on, it's just a lot of fun. And there's interstitial videos, there's pre-recorded videos that come up. I had a pretty busy weekend despite not streaming. But last week was fire. Because what was it? Was it Wednesday or Thursday? I feel like it was Thursday. No, it was Wednesday. It was Wednesday because that was October 1st. We had a very special live stream on Thursday. But before I get into what we talked about on Thursday, I feel like this whole stream that I'm doing today, Bob Jester, hello. I feel like this whole stream that I'm doing, JS, no, I have not ever worked as a radio DJ. I have a face for radio, however. But no. Last Wednesday, in addition to hanging out with Yang Yan Zhao, and I'm going to talk about that in just a minute because that's an important segment of the show. But I just feel like the bulk of today is going to be like product placement and promotion. Last week, on October 1st, on this live stream, we broke street. We debuted, we revealed this year's holiday gift giveaway for the prize drawing that will be conducted on Christmas night. That's December 25th, 2025. We are going to have a prize drawing. And of course, you guys probably all know, hey, Gonzalo, good to see you. It is for one of these jewels right here. That's right, folks. We have got four 4 replica original D&D wood grain sets. Now, this is not just the box, folks. This is not just the box. Contained in this box is a completely usable reproduction set of original Dungeons and Dragons. I have crafted it with just a ton of help from Matthew Tapp. I have crafted this to be as close to 1974's wood grain OD&D release as I can. And this set, you get Balrogs, you get Ents, you get Hobbits in here. Okay, no Baelors, no Halflings, no Treants. The Wizards of the Coast logo has been removed from the OD&D booklets. It is percent liar. Just so you know, so you get the rule books, but also I thought it was vital to include a copy of Chainmail. You get the 3rd edition Chainmail rules. You get the original D&D rules. You get the pull-out sheets for easy reference, all in this handsome wood grain box, guys. This is a very cool thing. Matthew helped this happen. I just feel like it is an awesome thing. Let me tell you how you can enter to win one of the 4 wood grain OD&D sets that we will be giving away on Christmas night. Here's what you do. Michael Connor, good to see you. Here's what you do. We have channel memberships. We have Patreon memberships or patronages, however it works. The Patreon info is scrolling across at the bottom. Channel memberships are down here, or they might be over there in the corner. I'm not sure, but you can become a channel member for as little as $2.99 a month. You can become a channel patron if you want to save a couple of bucks for as little as $1 a month. Support this channel via Patreon or via YouTube memberships at any level you want. Do so before October 31st, or I'm sorry, before the end of October 31st. You can do it on October 31st. And you will be automatically entered. Now, you have to remain a paid member through November and December at the least. So I'll sign up as a paid member and then I'll drop off. That won't work. I will essentially freeze the contestants list on November 1st. I will keep an eye on Patreon and on YouTube memberships. If it drops off, then your name will come off. But if you jump back on, if you realize, oh my gosh, this expired, and you jump back on, I will check against that list and say, oh, okay, well, they remedied it. So 2 months, $2, or $3.98 if you prefer YouTube memberships. And you are entered to win one of the 4 original D&D reproductions. Check this out. I'm going to jump right over here. Look at this, guys. Look at this. This is something that if you tried to buy one of these on the open market, you would end up paying $10,000, $15,000. I think one went a couple of years ago for $27,000. And I'm giving away 4 of them. Now, If you don't win, I'll understand if you say, hey, you know what? I signed up to win an OD&D set. I'm out. I get it. I completely understand. But one thing I will tell you is 2 of these are being auctioned in the not too distant future. One is being auctioned at Page, the Philadelphia area Expo Gamers. Gamers Expo. That is in January. I will be at that event, but so will the OD&D set. I have no control over who wins that. So maybe you can get in there and bid for it and win it. Another one will be auctioned at EggCon next summer. I am sending one up in lieu of myself, since I can't fold myself into that box. It will go in my stead. What date is Page? That's a good question. Page is in January. It's like the weekend of January the 15th. Philadelphia Area Gaming Expo, page 3, page 2. Let's see. It is January 15th to January 18th. And I'm hyped. I hope you are. So I will be headed up to Page. Now, EggCon is, let's see. Well, this year it was the 24th, 25th, 26th, and 27th in 2025. I don't think they have the new dates up yet, but they should be right around there. Are any being auctioned at the first lot? You know what? I might make a couple to auction off at Guac. I might do that. We'll have to see. A Mile of Cars. That is an underrated gem of a movie. I love Used Cars. Used Cars is phenomenal. Claricon dates, I don't know. Unfortunately, now I'm going to talk to Dungeon Minister. I would like to donate one of these to Claricon 2026. I will not have it done in time for Claricon 2025, but I would really like to donate one of these to Claricon 2026. We'll have to figure things out. Which brings up something, and I really this situation with shipping overseas is bonkers, guys. If you are in a foreign country and you win one of these sets, we're going to have to talk about shipping to you, okay? Because it's going to cost. It's going to be brutally expensive. The last thing I bought international order was the second art book by Regis Moulon over here. It's over here somewhere. I think it's right there. And the book was, I think when the dust settled, 40 euros. Shipping was 50 euros. So yeah. So just, if you're like, look, that's just too expensive. I'm take my name. I understand. I'm not trying to shut you out, but there we are. But see, getting stuff even to Canada, even to Canada. And if I knew someone in the States who was going to go to Claricon next year, I would ship them the OD&D set to take to Claricon, take it across the border to Claricon. OD&D set smuggling. Oh, what you got there in your car, eh? Nothing. You sure you don't have an OD&D set? Bring the OD&D sniffing dog around here, eh? Sorry. We got to ask you to step out of your car. So that's what's going on here. Now, I talked to you guys about the Kickstarter, and I want to show this to you guys real quick here. Let's present this because tonight's episode, the episode that I'm currently having, is brought to you by Yang and Zhao, and it is Empire of the Undying Sun, a first edition and 5th edition 450-page horror fantasy campaign with dreamwalking, wargaming, talent trees, and a shifting mega dungeon. What do I have to do with this? What is this other than just a cool thing? It's illegal because it's not metric, exactly. The first edition conversions are being handled by yours truly. Now, Yang did the important work. He did the serious, important work. I'm just getting in there and wrenching on the encounters, the stats, and that sort of thing to make this into a first edition AD&D compliant, compatible system. That's what I'm doing. So I feel it's in my best interest to tell you guys about this. I'm going to put this link up right here, right there in the chat. I want you guys to back this. I want you guys to back this because this is a brand new right now. You can get this in 2025. Well, when it releases in 2026, first edition advanced D&D product. Guys, I don't mean like, well, it's Swords and Wizardry white box, so I guess it's no. My mechanics Bible for this is the Dungeon Master's Guide, the Monster Manual, and the Player's Handbook. This is a first edition, not Osric, okay? Not Swords and Wizardry, not Axe, not first edition advanced D&D product you can back. Do you want more first edition AD&D stuff out there? Not like, well, I got this, but I got to change some stuff because, it's not. No, I mean first edition AD&D. That is what you will get in Empire of the Undying Sun. It's dark fairy horror. I thoroughly enjoyed the stuff that I've been working on, writing for it, and I hope you guys will get in on this, back this sucker to the moon. There's 24 days to go. He's halfway there, living on a prayer. Get on that, guys. Get on this Kickstarter. The art is amazing. There's some Art Deco style art happening in there with some of the fairy stuff, which is just too cool. Guys, this is worth your time. All right. This is worth your time and worth your money. What PC levels? There's adventures for all kinds of PC levels in the campaign book. You want to do low-level adventures, you want to do mid-level adventures, you want to do high-level adventures. There is something for everybody. You want to fight creatures on other planes? It's got it. You want to have a low down, dirty, gritty, grimy Fafhrd and Grey Mouser city-like adventure where a wallop with a nail-filled board could wind you up with tetanus and your character dies ignominiously. It's got that, and it's got everything in between. Is ADD without the ampersand copyright? I don't think it is. If it is, there's going to be a lot of mathematicians who are in trouble with Wizards of the Coast. I don't think the word "ad" is copyrightable. But anyway, I would love it if you guys would get in there. Oh, 30, 83, 91, 100 backers. Whoever just did that, thank you very much. But get in there and back that project, guys. All right. Now, maybe you're saying, well, clearly, Bill, you want us to back it, right? Because enlightened self-interest. My work on this is done. All right. I don't get a per book sale. I just want to see it succeed because I want this to be a shot across the bow. I had a guy get to 8th level as a monk in a campaign of mine, Robert. I want this to be a shot across the bow to publishers who go, wait a minute. We can publish first edition AD&D stuff and it'll sell. Yes. Yes. So the more you guys that back that, the louder that message will be broadcast. So please consider backing Empire of the Undying Sun, because you get to see more of my cool work out there. It's absolutely worth your time. And speaking of cool things that I've done, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, aficionados of first edition AD&D everywhere around the globe, and those of you on the ISS, I know you have internet access up there. Another JAS, I'll come right back to you. But another fun thing that I have done. Do you ever find yourself playing AD&D and a character just snuffs it? A monk, perhaps? Or you're DMing AD&D and the party encounters a party? I'm a dude playing a dude who plays another dude. And as a player or a DM, you just want to keep the action going. You just want to make a character just like that. But moreover, as a DM or as a player, you've got characters to keep track of. You got XP to assign, stats to keep track of, levels, everything else. Not just generation, but raising that character up. How do? Hey, you can do it with pencil and paper. Creating an AD&D character, it only takes about 10, 15 minutes. 10 or 15 minutes feels like 10 or 15 hours when you've brought your game to a stop. That's why I'm here to tell you folks about CROM, Character Record Organization Manager. It is the premier first edition AD&D character manager. The last word in first ed. Let me tell you about the features of CROM. CROM is a program that runs on Windows 8, 8.1, 10, and 11, 32 or 64-bit, on Mac OS through Wine or on Linux through Wine. It is a simple but complex all-text interface that lets you generate a character any of the 4 methods used in first edition AD&D, plus a 5th method for custom characteristic input. Why would I include such a thing like that? Maybe you've got a favorite character you've been kicking around since the summer of 78, and you want to preserve them. You don't want to erase on their character sheets anymore. It's gray, it's silvered, it's got holes worn through it. You can input that character into Chrome. You can input their experience points, their level. Chrome allows you to create any book legal character, race, class combination. Any. Got a human with the chops to dual class? Or you've got an eye to taking that human into Bard? Guess what? It can handle dual classing. The same for half-elves that want to become bards, by the way. Have a character have a falling out with their deity and they undergo an alignment change? It'll let you change alignment. But what about draining levels? Oh, yes, it'll drain levels and deduct hit points appropriately when those levels are drained. Sell gems, sell jewelry, buy equipment. And I know what you're thinking, Bill, what about creating a high-level magic user or a high-level illusionist? How do I create the spell books for those characters? Chrome will do that for you. Chrome will generate a spell book for you. JS, no, not jesters. It's just the classic AD&D characters. It does all of that, folks. You can create a character in 4 minutes with Chrome. It's so easy. It's so easy to use. Get up and get rolling in minutes with Chrome. Chrome is $25. And all you have to do is drop me an email, bsylvie@gmail.com. It's scrolling right across the bottom there. And I'll set you up with Chrome. And that entitles you, by the way, to any and all future updates to Chrome. Bug fixes, what have you, it's all there. Whew, that's enough advertising it, yeah. Now, JAS asked me, he said, I'm technology inept, how to use Kickstarter. Kickstarter, you have to create an account on it. You just, there's a login button in the upper right here. I'll put this on the screen. There's a login button up here. You click that. And I've already signed it. Well, here's the sign up button. So I can click sign up. Name, email, password. And then you create an account. And then you just go back. And you click back this project. Now, it will require a payment source. And at the appropriate time, you will pay into backing the account or the project. So that's what you do. It's that simple. You sign up, you back the project. It's like buying something on Amazon, except you don't actually pay until the project funds. No jesters, no mountebanks. Sorry. Player's handbook. That's it. Believe me, guys, if I tried to include all of the stuff, it would have been crazy. I think you can do either, JAS, but don't quote me on that. Does anyone here use Kickstarter with their just directly with their PayPal? I have a PayPal Visa that lets me use my PayPal money at point of sale. Well, I just meant in the sense that it's an online purchase, Orbital Air. Like when you go through checkout. No barbarians. Sorry, no Unearthed Arcana, no Dragonlance adventures, no Forgotten Realms adventures, no Oriental adventures, no Manual of the Plains, no Dungeoneer survival guide, no wilderness survival guide. No custom classes. I apologize. But it does let you save in HTML or text. No Kender. Absolutely not. Is this my book? This, I have done the first edition conversions for this book. Well, I'm working on them now. Not right now, not right this minute. Like, you know, I got a keyboard on my. I am doing the first edition AD&D conversions for this book. Yang Yan Zhao is creator. It is his creation. But trust me, when I say I'm converting it to first edition, I don't mean I'm flipping the armor class and calling it done. No. I will be first editionizing, this make an investigation roll. No. It's not happening. Characters with a sorcery background can blah, blah, blah. Nope. A dex save will prevent half the damage. No. I have been ordered to move without let or hindrance and AD&Dify this book. So you may rest assured that I will. And you guys can back it and get super cool first edition campaign book. Now, there'll still be 5e stuff in the book. You'll be resting assured. Dungeon Minister, hello. How are you? Good to see you. Yeah, no advantage rolls. Sorry. We're just unfrozen cavemen out here, Jazz. Dungeon Minister, I'm going to put you on the spot. Did you just wander in, Dungeon Minister? Have you just teleported us? I did swing by, and it was nice to chat with you guys. Are you aware of the thing that's going on, the thing that's happening, Dungeon Minister? I'm sure you know what that thing is, even if you don't know about the thing that's going on. By the way, guys, Claricon is happening. Not Yang's new project. This. I mean, Yang's new project is cool. Yeah, Claricon is happening real soon. This is an unpaid plug. It is in the PRC, the People's Republic of Canada. It is October 24th to 26th in Glen Williams on. Not Glen Williams off, but Glen Williams on. I think Glen Williams off is like the Negaverse Glen Williams. But anyway, there is a virtual Claricon, and I'm going to be running a game in virtual Claricon. Dungeon Minister, this is a reproduction of the ultra rare wood grain 1974 original D&D sets. We're giving away 4 of those on our Christmas night live stream, myself and Mrs. the Dungeon Delver. Now, I will not have the sets ready to roll in time for Claricon, I don't think. However, right now, let me ask you live on the show. May I donate one of these to the Claricon auction in 2026 for Claricon 4? May I do that? And we will arrange to get it to you for next fall's Claricon. So you let me know. Because I would very much like to do that. I just cannot logistically make it happen this year. Anyway, that's, you know what? We're just clearing the floor now of pitches and businessy chat and all that jazz and jazz. Hey, let me ask you a favor. If you're out there watching on X, would you give us a shout? Would you give us a hello and let us know how things are in Guacamora? Would love to hear from you. We had a lot of fun last week. We played our first session of Call of Cthulhu for the Halloween Horror Shocktober mini campaign. Rabbit Wrangler, good to see you. And that was a lot of fun. That was on Friday night. So we're doing that again this Friday night. We're doing it again the Friday after, and the Friday after that, and the Friday after that. Because there's 5 Fridays in the month of October. If it goes to Kanekistan, would the void grain be large? I suppose. The larch. Well, Dungeon Minister, let me know. So yeah, the horror campaign is excellent. Daniel Breland, hello, good to see you. I can do this thing right here. Welcome, welcome. So yeah, we had a busy week last week. We have a lot of guest spots coming up. Let's see. Orisa T will be here. We haven't settled on date. Aggie will be here. Gosh, let's see. Risa, Aggie. Oh, and one of these weekends in October on Saturday, we're going to do a special live stream. I've already got my players lined up. We're going to do a live stream of the Erebos Mythos RPG. Now, it is a horror game, and we love our horror D&D games, or our horror RPG games. It's really interesting because it is set in the 19th century, but in Greece. So deals with a lot of Greek horror folklore. So I'm stoked about that. Aggie will be here on the show. Aggie will be promoting a new old school, not software, physical TTRPG product he's got going out. What else? I'm going to reach out to Paul because this past weekend, of course, was Dragon Days in Lake Geneva. I'm going to reach out to Paul and I'm going to find out if Paul is available this week. So we've got racked and stacked throughout the month. And I'm excited about that. I'm really excited about that. I think next month, if you kids are good, if you kids behave yourself, in November, we're going to get Rob Kuntz to come back. We will get Rob here, and hopefully we can get the audio video situation worked out. Hopefully we can get that working. So I'm excited about that possibility. And yeah, I consider the slide into the holidays as being like a quiet time. Not this year. I've got the OD&D sets to make. I've got at minimum 5, maybe as many as 7 guest shows coming between now and December. I am completely booked, guys. I am completely booked. Any chance of a Delver Tankar crossover? Doubtful. An extra wide Crown Royal bag. I tell you what, if I could get a Crown Royal bag big enough to put these in, I might send them out in those. Oh, Dungeon Minister, I feel that. I absolutely feel that. Adulthood is saying things will quiet down next week for the rest of your life. Good Lord, yes. St. Cuthbert, good to see you. But I want to open the floor up now, guys. So pardon me. Let me cast Move Earth. I want to open the floor up for any D&D discussion that we've got out there. Any questions you guys might have. Now, I saw this discussion pop up the other day, and I bet the snowmen are happy, JAS. I saw this discussion pop up, and this comes up from time to time, and it has, but ever see the Crown Royal bag shorts from my local fall fair craft contest? I feel like you sent a picture of that, Dungeon Minister. I feel like you have. But anyway, I'm sorry, I went blank there. Oh, I actually got a full, complete answer on this. Oh, that's a good question, Alan. I'll come back to that in just a second. That's a good question. Hey, Kabuki, good to see you. Namaste, my friend. And the question was, some AD&D sources say magic armor doesn't weigh a thing. Some AD&D sources say magic armor weighs half. Which is it? Because it seems like, depending on which source you look at, it varies. I talked to Alan Hammock about this past summer at EggCon. Here's the deal. Here's the deal from a guy who was there at Gary's table. Listen up. Magic armor is not weightless. It doesn't weigh nothing. If it weighed nothing, it would float off. For purposes of fatigue, for purposes of ease of wear, magic armor effectively feels like it weighs nothing. Think about putting on a breastplate that weighs as little as a t-shirt. It weighs nothing. I see all your question, JAS, and I'll come back to that too. That does not mean that it has no weight. Its weight is half normal. Its bulk is effectively nothing. A magic shield is perfectly balanced on your arm. It doesn't fatigue you, but it still weighs 2.5 pounds. It's just that simple. Damien, no, he does not, unless he crouches down and is entirely unseen. If you do the whole, oh, but what if they're doing the whatever shield wall thing where they've got their shields up and they're all interlocked, then he can't cast spells. He's kind of being scrunched down. He can't cast spells. So in that, he can't be hit, but he's not an active participant in the combat. Does magic armor come with a helmet? If a suit of armor specifically says it does, I mean, sure. You know, a chain suit is going to come with a coif, but not necessarily. Your DM should decide that on a case-by basis. So there you have it. Yes, magic armor weighs something. It is not encumbering. It does not restrict your movement. It's magic. I hope that answers that question. Now let's see. Alan Canning's question here. Thoughts on loss of stats and newer 2024 starter set only show modifiers. Dumb. That's not D&D. That's not D&D. I'm gatekeeping that. Don't bring that to my table. That's bad and that's wrong. You're playing D&D wrong if you do it that way. That's not D&D. D&D is strength, intelligence, wisdom, dexterity, constitution, charisma, hit points, armor class. That's how it is. That's the way it works. Them's the rules. You want to throw that out? Then you're not even playing D&D anymore at that point. You're playing something else. You're doing something else, and it's not D&D. So don't yeah. Don't come at me with that. Let's see. What is the best way to start a campaign? In a tavern, in media res, in jail? I mean, all of them can be good. All of them can be good. It depends on what your aim is, you know. Because think of all the classics. In a tavern. Maybe your character is just a homebody, you know. You are like Bilbo. You're just sitting at home enjoying yourself. You've been you've learned first level spells. You know, you're helping out around the village, or maybe you're a veteran of the peasant levies. You chase the occasional wolf or bear off, and with a flash and a bang, hey, there's a wizard telling you got to go on an adventure. Any way is good. Any way is good. They can all be good. Thank you, Argos. Yes, you gatekeep that. Hey, that there you go. Everybody starts off as slaves. You know, you come to, you're chained to an oar in a ship. Guy beating a drum says, flank speed. Boom, boom, boom. Hey, Bob Gnarly's Magic Man. Good to see him. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Alan. If it doesn't show the 3D18, then that's not even a thing. That's not even a thing. And maybe that's a little when creating an adventure, how much is too much narrative speaking? Box text what you want to say to your players. and put it into a 3-inch column in Word or whatever. If it's more than 2 inches, it is too much talk. If you print that out and on a page that is 2 inches of columnar text with a 3-inch column, that's too much. You have said too much. Right on, Bob. Excellent. The people you're playing with 1E with, do they need a fast and easy way to create first edition characters? Because I can hook them up. Bob's just one of the satisfied Chrome customers. I just got to tease him a little bit. What size of font? 96 point. Well, that's too much. Bill said that's no, like 9 point, 12 point, something like it's not a hard exact to, like, no, let's get my ruler out. Oh, sorry. The install process. You mean opening the zip and double clicking on the exe? Why does strength have the percent for fighters but not int for wizards, etc.? Because that's how it is. And we know that's how it is because if you look at it, that's the way it is. But I believe in keeping it succinct because the more you go on and the more stuff you introduce into a D&D game, the narrower the path that players can walk on gets. That's just my personal feeling. Now, I think there are some modules adventure modules that sorry about that, that are like, oh, hello, Beth Baggs. Hello. How are you? That's the Dungeon Sister, everyone. Right over there. I'm not touching you. Does this bug you, Beth? But no, to answer the question, that's just Gary just wanted a granular strength system. I don't think there's any benefit. I mean, you do like a point more damage if you have a strength that's this percentage versus this percentage. But honestly, I don't know. I think your finger slipped, Bob. I think that's I think you meant to type B2 is the greatest module of all time, but that's okay. I know you meant B2, keep on the Borderlands. It's fine. It's absolutely fine. Why does WotC think stats are bad? Because I think they're lowering the bar to the floor and then digging a trench in the floor and lowering the bar into it. And then climbing down and looking under the bar and seeing if they can dig deeper to lower the bar, because they think anything other than let's pretend you're a magical unicorn man is too we don't want to scare people off with war game rules, do we? I think that's where they're headed. They're just headed to D&D is just theater kids sitting around saying let's pretend. Well, JS, there was no concept of spell points at the time. There simply wasn't. I mean, how do you represent Gary based his spell system very much on Jack Vance's The Dying Earth and the compaction of spells into the minds of spellcasters. You store that energy and those formulae up, and you repeat them over and over again, and it stays stuck in your head until you finally, excellent prismatic spray, and then you're like, the shock of channeling all that power and shouting that formula just takes it right out of your head. It's like, why did I walk in this room? What was I here for? And it's much more simpler to say, here is a slot, here is one, think of this as a slot in your head that a spell goes in, and then it's ejected when you cast it, versus the spell is 50 points, I've got 75, so I can throw, Exactly. By the way, Bob Gnarly, you bringing up the Vecna equals Vance, in one of his later books, Jack Vance honored Gary Gygax. He named a ship's captain Gygax. WotC is driving towards an AI-based D&D system, and I think they've got it to. I think there's two things going on, and this is, I'm not screaming and yelling about this. This is just how modern D&D is going to be, and why I eschew modern D&D is they are driving towards removing the DM. It will be a digital DM using generative AI, and simplifying things to the point that it's literally just roll a d20 and tell me what your strength plus is. The actual number you have in strength doesn't matter. 5e, not 5-year, exactly. But I feel like they are absolutely unquestionably driving straight towards that. So as far as guys, let me tell you a wonderful story. Okay, this is an awesome story, and I love telling this story, and maybe I'm breaking my arm patting myself on the back, but I'm going to tell it to you anyway. Way back in the year of our Lord 2017, I think 2016, maybe even, I was in my favorite local comic shop, Gods and Monsters. They're down on International Drive. You've heard me talk about them before. Tell Todd and Anna I said hello. Love those guys to death. No, I would not. If I received a free copy, only physical copy. Someone would have to send me a physical copy, and then I would compare it to B2. It would be like a side-by-side comparison with B2. But I'm not going to sit here with a PDF of it. No. But yes, if I received a free copy, physical copy, I would go through B2 and look at Heroes of the Borderlands and see how it's stacked. Anyway, so I'm down there. They're having their store anniversary. I had a table covered with Dwarven Forge, miniatures, Dwarven Forge, players' handbooks at each seat for everybody to sit down. It's the international sign for everybody has a player's handbook and can sit down. And there's a guy standing, he's about my age, and he's walking around the table looking at and he's like, oh, is this D&D? And I was like, yeah. I'm setting up a D&D game. And he asked to look at the Dungeon Master's Guide, and he's looking through it, and he's like, man, when I was in middle school and this game was out, I really wanted to play D&D. But, the guys that I went to school with, they didn't really want me to game with them. And, and I was like, Oh, cool. Okay. Well, go in the store and grab some dice and come back down and sit down and play. And he was like, no, I didn't learn how back then. I don't know. And I said, okay, you need some instruction on playing. Cool. Go inside, buy a set of dice, come back, sit down and play. And you can play D&D with us. And the dude was like, really? And I was like, yeah, really. Of course, really. This dude, who had never played D&D before in his life, was in his 40s. Advanced Dungeons and Dragons First Edition. He got a seat down at the far end of the table. He's making notes. He's talking to players. He's coming over and asking me things. He's like, hey, guy, I'm going to go down there with my camera and get a picture so we can better see the hallway. This dude was all over D&D. He was all over it. I saw this guy's face light up. He was like a kid in a candy store. He bought his first D&D dice. He played his first D&D game right there at my table. I want that for everybody. I want that for everybody. What I don't like, see, I'm not the gatekeeper. Just a minute. Sorry about that. What I don't like is this reverse gatekeeping. See, I think you can have fun playing any D&D. Wizards of the Coast would have you believe you can only have fun playing their D&D. Now, they begrudgingly sell 1E, 2E, 3E, yeah, some 4E, and now 5E to the diehards, the grognards, original D&D, basic D&D of few different stripes. But they'll have you believe that this is the only way in. And I mean, I've sat down with people, they're only, I've just played fourth. I don't know if I'm going to get this. 3 hours later, they're telling me they're going to go and they're going to buy the PDFs of the AD&D books because they love it. Man, I don't even have to look at the character sheet. I can just tell you I want to do something. That's right. It's like saying you can only like rock and roll if you listen to this band. It's ridiculous. You can only like Led Zeppelin if you admit that Physical Graffiti is the best album. That's actually the truth. Actually, that is correct. That is objectively correct. So that's a bad example, but I'm just kidding. No, I'm not. Yeah, no, I'm not. Like BX Beckme AD&D should be taught in schools. That's right, Kabuki. I do. It's old music, and I'm an old music guy, and I know my Led Zeppelin. Yes, FMCS Recon AD&D First Edition is written at a different reading level than the new version of D&D because Gary didn't talk down to us. If I didn't know what a word was, he had a definition in the book. If it wasn't in the book, I went and got a dictionary and looked it up. Vocabulary +1, right then, right there. High Gygaxian. He spoke to us in High Gygaxian. Damn right. You mean people younger than 60? Allowed? Hell, I encourage it. Alan asks a good question here. When did D&D start to become more level-centric? The minute D&D became. See, because Alan, if you go to Chainmail, Alan, Chainmail has no levels. It has heroes and superheroes, but there's no real way to move between the two. When Gary saw what Dave was doing with characters becoming more powerful, he realized that was the way forward and formulated the system that original D&D uses. No. That was Monster Manual, Dungeon Master's Guide, thick stack of modules, Monster Manual to Deities and Demigods, and a dictionary. That was my D&D shelf when I was a kid. See, that's a good thing, JAS. Yes, Alan, what I'm saying is Dave Arneson had a system for characters growing more powerful. I'm not sure exactly what it was. I'm told it was more simplistic than how original D&D did it. But Gary knew the characters had to grow in power. Because, I mean, having a character that, lasts through 30 campaigns and they're a hero and they get one-shotted by a goblin, that's just not cool. I don't like that orbital layer. I don't mind games that don't have a level system, but if you're going to call something OD&D or even D&D, it better have levels and stats. Quiet. I was just looking up the naughty words. Yes, I read the dictionary for fun, and then I got the Hobbit, and then the Lord of the Rings. That sounds about like Peter Grant from the stories I've heard. Bob, I feel like that's probably about the best balance. He got less than he deserved back then and more than he deserves today. I mean, it's like I say in the boilerplate. Gary taught us orcs are fecund and then sent us away to find the dictionary to see what the word fecund meant. Because let's face it, when you're 13 years old, fecund sounds pretty obscene. And then you're like, oh, it just means you have a lot of kids. Okay. Like how PCs would have 5 characters in a campaign, so losing one wouldn't slow the game down. Well, I mean, yeah. I like the word Zoftig. That's one of my favorite. I love how it just kind of slides out of the teeth and tongue there. Zoftig. Get that nice buzzing Zoftig. I'm going to say this, and I've said this before, Bob. Without Gary Gygax, there is no Dungeons and Dragons. There is likely no TTRPG hobby. Dave Arneson was not on the verge of publishing a role-playing game called Dungeons and Dragons or Fantasy Adventures or anything like that. A few hundred college students. It would be something that if you knew people who knew people who knew people who grew up in and around the Minneapolis area in the 1960s and 70s, they might have heard of this war game, right? I mean, I don't know, my channel would be about Magic the Gathering or something. If Magic the Gathering would even exist. I mean, I can take it or leave it, right? I'm not part of the Gygax Internet Defense Force. And I'm not trying to be. That's just, But it's as I've said before, guys, I wasn't there. I wasn't in the room back in 1973 when these discussions were being held. Well, I mean, orbital, I feel like that's, well, Alan, I tell you what, when Rob's on the show again, you ask the question and I'll parse it on to Rob. Remember, guys, you guys ask the questions of the guest as much as I do. As long as it's on topic and appropriate, I will pass that question to them. I think a lot of people get like screen lock and they're just like, and you don't remember. You can ask. I will parse it on. A million monkeys typing for a million years. Yeah. Paul does know the answers, and Paul's been on here and he's held forth on it many times. But orbital error, back to your question about does philosophy dictate that Gary would have, or that someone would have invented it, if not Gary? Here's the thing about that. That is kind of like, that's an on faith statement. See, all we have is a priori. Well, if somebody didn't invent gunpowder, somebody would have. I mean, who's the Chinese alchemist who put pellets of bird dung together with saltpeter and sulfur and saw them flash into a sudden fire and then said, powder it, mix it up fine, cram it into a tube so it's nice and tight, light it with a wick. You know, who did that? And the reality is we don't know. I mean, that's a little like, well, why didn't you do X? Well, somebody was going to do it. Are you talking about the Temple of the Frog that comes in supplement to Blackmore? Yeah, that's a cool module. Weird about people talking about that stuff. About about gunpowder. Yeah, I guess I got to be careful. But thank you for the super doc. I appreciate that. But anyway, I mean, consider the Ankathera machine, right? Hand wound analog computer for calculating positions of the sun, the moon, the Olympics, the Baghdad batteries, Greek steam machines. Now, what if you gotten all of these inventions in the same place at the same time? We did. Hey, Bob Gnarly, thank you very much. Yes, Kabuki, it was essentially a handheld Ori. I mean, it didn't project on the ceiling, but you'd turn the you'd turn the crank and the gears would move and you would see like, on this date, when is this going to happen? Oh, okay, the moon will be like this, you know. It's a fiendishly complex device. Thousands of years old. Very precise. Thank you very much, Bob. I do appreciate that, man. I really do. Which is better, Blackmoor or Greyhawk? We have so little of Greyhawk in OD&D that the fleshed out feeling of Blackmoor in supplement to Blackmoor gives it that win by default. But advancing, we have next to no Blackmoor other than a nod to it in the World of Greyhawk setting, that at that point, it by definition becomes Greyhawk. No, I'm going to wrap probably in another 15 or 20 minutes too, Kabuki, but thank you for hanging out with us. No, Greyhawk, I mean, the box set is really phenomenal. I'm saddened that we never got a Castle Greyhawk. Here's the thing, guys. Castle Greyhawk exists in a quantum state. It's whatever you want it to be. Most of you watching this, some of you out there may, but most of you watching this, myself included, will never see the Castle Greyhawk levels. All right. If we want a Castle Greyhawk, you got to do what I've done. Make your own. But as far as the rest of the campaign setting itself, I love it. It is the perfect balance of enough information to build and populate your world, but not so much that you overwhelm. And I mean no disrespect to the authors, but I think Dragonlance and Forgotten Realms are like, okay, here's the finely detailed timeline, and these people did this and these people did that, so you don't go do this because that's already been done. And the proof of that, the evidence of that, lies in this. And Paul and I talked about this last time he was over. Yeah, I think eventually they'll make their own Castle Greyhawk. They've already offered in the Dungeon Master's Guide for 6th edition the city of Greyhawk and its environs as an example campaign setting. So they've already muddied those waters. Yes, I think Blackmoor should have stayed its own thing rather than be a prequel for Mystara. I think Blackmoor should have been its own campaign setting. But Lisa, cannot remember her last name. I've gone completely blank. I apologize to you, Madame, if you are out there listening to this in the future. But there was a woman, first name of Lisa, who was the product manager for the Greyhawk setting. Lisa Stevens, look her up. Greyhawk product manager. She stated flat out on the Paizo forums, I was a Greyhawk product manager for many, many years. Demand for Greyhawk product ranked at exactly the same level as Forgotten Realms and Dragonlance. And that's just the truth. I mean, that's just the truth. There's no questioning. Oh wow, you guys are getting into the getting into the weeds on me here. Did anybody make a Lankmar setting? Yes, TSR made a Lankmar setting for D&D. It's unobtainium now. You enjoyed my version of Castle Greyhawk. Thank you, John Collins. Was it Greyhawk? No. So here's the thing. Greyhawk, its environs, the names, The places, the events, the modules supporting it all belong to Wizards of the Coast. What was locked up in Gary's noggin belonged to him. When Gary hired us all on to write the Yigsburg and its environments, that was still Castle Greyhawk, but there were things that he had to change. There were things that he could not just nod in a wink, the serial numbers are filed off. There was new stuff being created by us, by definition. And I developed 5 modules, for lack of a better term. 1 was within the city, 3 were outside of the city. The Outs, Rivergate and Newtown. There was a slums module, and then the Citadel was inside the city. And of course, I developed the Teeth of the Barkishnoor, and you guys know what happened with Teeth of the Barkishnoor. I've told that story many times. So all of that stuff was meant to be Greyhawk flavored, but yes, Gary's vision evolved. So the stuff that people did get, and you can get a little tiny taste of what the Teeth of the Barkishnoor might have been like if you buy a copy of The Lost Crypt. That's not a self-plug. I don't get anything for it. You can go buy it from Frog God, Necromancer. But if Tim wants to come on here, if somebody wants to put Tim in touch with me, absolutely. I'm going to try in the new year to get Harold Johnson and Mike Mornard on the show. Thank you, Bob. I appreciate that. Would City Books be successful? Well, I'd like to think my Citadel book would have been pretty successful, because that was kind of a neat place. That was one thing. I can tell you a little bit of details about the Citadel. It was basically the police station, the military base, etc., in the city of Yigsburg. But I wanted things to be a little interesting. I wanted things to be I didn't want just like, oh, this is a building, there's this many soldiers here, here's their personalities, etc. So the place was troubled, and Gary liked it. I had an aboleth growing in the cistern. I had a haunted room. I had were-rats working to break in. I had a gnome Masonic organization that had met in that spot where the Citadel eventually got built. And they just used sneaking and invisibility to get in and hold their meetings at the base of one of the walls. Still, thank you for the super sticker, Alan. I even had a little secret romance going on between a couple of the personnel in the Citadel. I had hints at much more dangerous stuff that was in the outside that Gary said I could put there, and we might possibly be able to develop. That Citadel was no dull castle. There were a lot of hooks. I even did a parkway outside of it that had like this lovely little park was once like a battlefield mass grave. And there was a chance that the grave could be like ruptured, like burst into. or burst forth from by this white that was down there. It wasn't a city dull, it was a city exciting. That's right. And I did the same thing, like in the slums. In the poor quarter, I had a whole sewer that was full of the destitute and the degenerate, the evil that lived down there. I had a farm that had been like one of the 5 farms in a nearby farm district had been taken over by kobolds and hobgoblins. They were holding the family of the farmer hostage and made him go out and pretend to work his fields. Not undead army, undead force. But yeah, I mean, I had a lot of cool stuff in those modules. They'll never get published, mind you. But I had a lot of cool stuff in those modules. And unfortunately, things kind of went sideways and they'll never get published. Maybe if I can find them someday, I can publish them for you guys. Thank you, Bob. I appreciate it. I see Tim from time to time at convention events when I get out to them. Should I say convention events? Conventions. I think convention entails event when you're referring to it in that way. So, Bob, I really appreciate that though. As long as he doesn't like on stream, because I'll get dinged by YouTube for that, right? But anyhow, so I know a lot of other people were putting cool stuff like that in their modules. I feel like, and I know some people who did it just very straight, like this is a barn, this many tons of dry hay, this many tons of wet hay, this much grain, 4 horses, stable boy, 3 hit points, armed with a pitchfork, 1 to 4 damage, fights as level 0 commoner, armor class 10. Moving on. I know there are some people that were doing that. Was there ever a tongue-in-cheek module with built-in? Oh, there were great puns in all the classic modules. Some of them were visual, like pieces of art. Bill Willingham, in one of the modules, there's like a treasure chest that has Magneto's helmet, Captain America's shield, Thor's hammer. There's a lot of visual puns and visual jokes in art. If Gary was writing the module, he could exalt you or scorn you with character's name. There's a greedy, evil assassin in T1 named Rannis Devil, Dave Arneson. Nosnra in G1, the fat, disgusting, boorish hill giant lord, Nosnra Arneson. But yeah, there's a lot of jokey stuff out there. The module Up the Garden Path, which I need to do a deep dive on ST1 Up the Garden Path. It is awful. It is not a good module. Do I think cons are the future of the hobby? I think cons have been part of the hobby, part of the gaming hobby since the late 1960s. I think they've always been a vital part of it. Yes, absolutely. But yeah, the original Castle Greyhawk that TSR published to roundly mock Gary, that's a very jokey module. Pretty much all right. Depending on how AD&D you consider Hackmaster 4th edition, all of their modules and their rule books are jokes. It's the Mad Magazine version of D&D. Are there any cons in the NYC area? Michael Graham, I would wager there are lots of D&D cons in the New York City area. If you want to get down to Philly in January, I'm not sure how big of a drive that is, but if you get down to Philly or up to, I don't know my geography. I'm so sorry. If you get to Philly in January, Page, Philadelphia area gamers expo, where I will be in January. Couple hours. Well, there you go. That's like Orlando to Tampa or Orlando to Fort Lauderdale. So there you go. Load up, drive, take the train. The Northeast is stupid with trains. Take the train down there. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, one thing I can tell you about convention-wise, guys, boys and girls, is one con: the travel, room, board, food, game registration, con registration, all of that will cost you a big fat zero. The guac. Oh, yeah. The Great Underground Online Gaming Convention, the guac. The Great Underground Online Gaming Convention is coming up this spring. It is in April. It is the weekend of April 9th through April 12th. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. How do you get there? What do you do? What's going to happen? Guys, the guac is a free online convention. All you have to do is skip over to the Discord. Ciao, Kabuki. Enjoy your dinner, dear. Ciao. Ciao. Bob, when I hit 10,000 subscribers, the guac will become the Great Underground Overland Gaming Convention, and it will be in real life. Do I let congoers virtually? Absolutely. Hang out in my virtual living room, put your virtual feet up on the virtual coffee table, order some virtual pizza. If the audience for 5th or 6th edition is aging millennials, what happens to AD&D? We keep playing is what happens. Pinochle, Bocce ball, shuffleboard, all that at the old folks' home becomes D&D night. That's how it rolls. But I'm going to show you guys. Come over, sign up, join the guac. I'll put the invite up right now. Now, if you are watching this 2, 3, 4 months from now, this link will probably not work. There's the Discord link. Bob Gnarly. Join us over on the Discord. Here's how you sign up to become a game master at guac. It's very complicated. It's very difficult. I apologize for that. Get a pen and a pad or get ready to pause the video and clip this, record this, have it transcribed. Send me a message and say, I want to be a game master. And that's it. You're done. I'll show you how. Once you do that, I will show you how to set up your game in Sked. Scheduler is super easy to use. You set it up, it populates the game list. People come in, they click interested, they click attending, bada, 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 bada. And that's it. At your game's time, I assign you a game room. You go in there, we've got a built-in die roller, knock yourself out. That Kickstarter I was talking up earlier, why, that is none other than this Kickstarter right here. I gotta bring it up. You guys asking me, coming back to stuff. Let's see. There it is. Empire of the Undying Sun for 5E and 1E. Back that Kickstarter. Please back that Kickstarter. Yang and I are pulling out all stops to get this Kickstarter done. And guys, let me tell you what. Again, I'd very much like it if you guys would sign up and back this Kickstarter. It's going to be 1E stuff that I'm working on is going to be in here. So you don't just get Yang's kick-ass adventures. So, Alan, the last guac was 5 days. I've actually moved this one up so that it's 4 days. I think 4 is enough, dude. I think people tend to drift off. But I will tell you, the guac is 24 hours. I don't have event rooms. I don't have rooms. Yes, I do, Bob. Yes, I do. I do get recompense from this. I kind of joked about it earlier, but I do. I get recompense from this. So here, you know what? I'll put it up on the screen for you guys while I talk to you, because there's not really I don't have any visual stuff going on the screen right now. Is my con merch only virtual? I mean, in the sense that the con, you buy your stuff online, but you'll get physical items. Dungeon Minister actually has the guac merch link. I got to get it from him and get it set up so you guys can get your t-shirts, glasses, hats, dice bags, whatever. And I got to get a new merch design. Not like my current merch designs are bad. I'm just saying they need to have the right date on them. Anyway. There it is. There is the Empire of the Undying Sun Kickstarter. Let's do a quick reload on that real quick. As you can see, go away. Not you guys, the menu on the screen. As you guys can see, he's made it a little more than halfway there. Love to finish that by the end of the month. The link to my merchandise is in the show description. The link to my show merchandise is in the show. Any plans for guac branded guac? No. No. Guacamole spoils as soon as you open the container. It's like, fresh guac. Shump. Well, that's brown. But yes, Alan, I have fans in Oceania. I have fans in Europe. I have fans in Asia. I have fans all over the world. I've even had one person say they're in South Africa on the live stream. So yeah, all I ask is that you block off your time, starting at 1,200 hours on the day. So do 12 to 4. Even if you know your game's going to run for an hour and 36 minutes, block it off for 4 hours. Good night, Michael. Take care. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. Any art? I don't know if anyone's watching us down in. If you're watching us down in Antarctica, please say hi. Amsterdam for work right now. Well, there you go. So Bob Gnarly, it's, oh good Lord, it's 0 dark 30, man. Yeah, you know, Bob, I'm going to tell you something, and I say this with no great amount of pride. My circadian rhythms are shot. I'm usually up at 2 a.m. too. Although not doing stuff as fun as important as what you're doing, I promise you. Unless I'm making the OD&D box sets. Yeah, Jorge. But the thing is, Jorge is like Central Time. It's he's like literally one time zone over from me, even though he is almost as far away from me as you can be. He would have to be Kyle to be further away. And I think like if you took a piece of yarn, if you stuck a thumbtack in where I am on a globe and took a piece of yarn and took it down to where Jorge was and then swung it over, it may go further than where Kyle is now. I don't know. But yeah, Jorge's down there, but he's more or less on the same timeline as we are. But yeah, so Guac is going to be open 24 hours. I just ask that you block your time off in 4-hour chunks, and do it with noon as your baseline. But if you're like, look, I can only get my group together at this time, is that still going to be okay with you? Then sure. Like if that's your availability, that's your availability. It's not like we're renting out a building, a concert hall, the Masonic Lodge, the local Presbyterian church rec room, or anything like that. So you can dance if you want to. So yes, please do sign up for the guac. Enjoy the guac. And I am going to get a merch together soon. But guac registration is open, guys. You can literally just guac on over there. What do you people know from funny? Anyway, you can just click the link, go over there, and landing in the Discord, register. That's hey, there you go. You're registered for the con. And one thing, I feel like I got a pound on this drum. Yes. So the wood grain sets came first, then the white boxes. Now, early white boxes were not listed as original collector's edition. That came when AD&D started rolling out. They still had, because you got to understand, this blew up. Gary made 2,500 of these and was like, that's all we're ever going to need. Those will sell out slowly. Those sold out in like 2 months. That first 2,500 wood grain sets. So they were like, well, we can't let that happen again. So they had tons of them. So by the time AD&D came out, if you kept your Gateway to Adventure catalogs that were coming out in 81, 82 in your D&D box sets, like you guys can see me in the thumbs, the little postage stamp sized screen. But if you remember those catalogs, OCEs were being sold into 1982 and supplements. So you could get an OCE, Gods, Demigods, and Heroes, Blackmoor, Greyhawk, Swords and Spells, Eldritch Wizardry as late as 1982. And they were just selling through the stocks that they'd printed up. But when they were selling box sets, they put original collector's edition. They kind of wanted to ratchet it up. But this is a real one. The ones that looked like this was the first, made this at the dining room table, made this down in the basement, had 2,500 of them, sets that went out. So, that's what you got back then, was just that. but you didn't get it with a chainmail. Do you guys want to see what's in the box? Because I know some of you guys weren't there. We can wrap up the evening doing kind of an unboxing, if you will, of what you're going to get in the OD&D box. And I'm going to slide that out of the way. If you guys want to have a gander, we can kind of do an unboxing. You guys let me know. We've got like a little less than 15 minutes left before we wrap for the night. Yeah, it can be. Yeah. Got wood grain. All right. Well, all it takes is one person to say yes. So let's go over here. We'll come over here to this camera. My professionally run show where everything works all the time. All right, let's do this. All right, there we go. And here's our Woody. I'm going to show wood on the camera. All right, so here we go. And there's the stripe on the edge. Now, this facsimile, this is a vinyl sticker. The original ones were paper that were pasted onto the boxes. But I opted for the vinyl sticker method. You can see that there. And an unboxing. All right, we will put the lid right over here. And by the way, anyone who's entered, don't worry. This is not a set that I'm going to send out. So, all right. So here's the booklets. You have Men in Magic. You have Monsters and Treasures, The Underworld. I did that backwards, but Men in Magic, Monsters and Treasures, The Underworld and Wilderness Adventures. And let me find a nice looking page here. There is printing in the back cover, just like there was in the original. Yeah, I had my Blue Yeti. It was a fine mic. It really was. The only reason I have the Aston Element is it was given to me. Everything you see, you guys have helped happen. I bought one of these monitors. I bought and paid for one of these monitors. Well, no, I take that back. Everything that I bought that you guys haven't donated, I bought because you guys have supported the show. That's what, if somebody just said, do this on a budget of $0 and nobody is going to back you, nobody's going to give you any money, or even if they do, we forbid you to spend it on the show, I would have a webcam and I would be using the audio from that webcam, and that would be it. What sort of modules are best for 4-hour one-shots? Dungeon crawls. And here is the facsimile copy of Chainmail. That is the Chainmail copy. So there you go. And last and absolutely not least, the reference sheets. These are the multi-page reference sheets that have easy to read stuff. Thank you, Bob. Thank you. I've put a lot of time and effort into this. And I also could not have done this without Matthew Tapp. He deserves so much of the praise. So there you go. A cracking unboxing of original Dungeons and Dragons. But had you purchased a wood grain OD&D set from TSR back in the day, that's what you would have gotten. The exception is the booklets would have been brown. They don't make the grain textured paperboard, 90-pound paperboard in this color brown, which Mrs. the Dungeon Delver is convinced is nicotine colored. It's like the color of cigarette stains. And I'm inclined to agree with her. Well, I said, yes, I will sign yours. All of these, you're seeing it, very funny. All of these will be marked. They will be signed, numbered. I will probably do like silver ink inside them, because I would, if one of you lost yours, if you, let's say you won it at the auction, or you win it at the contest, or somebody who wins it at the contest gives it to you, or whatever, if it then fell into someone else's hands, someone unscrupulous, they might be tempted to say, well, I'll just rough this up. I'll just rough this up a little bit, and then I'll sell it. I'll sell it as the real deal. And I don't want that to happen. There's no mention of Wizards of the Coast in these books. I edited the PDFs and removed the Wizards of the Coast markings on the front page of every booklet to preserve verisimilitude and authenticity. I want those who receive these, my signature aside, to feel like they are opening and handling and playing with something that they could have bought at the hobby dungeon shop 50 years ago. Yeah, the 6,000 or 8,000, I think they got pretty stupid with the prices, Bob. They got up there to, I think one did go for 27. I can't remember if that was a shrink wrapped or not. Customize one to remove empty chambers and lessen. One of the sets? I'm confused, Alan. Yeah. Yeah. I don't like the gannet. They wet the nest. It's a standard British bird. I'm not going to lie. I seriously considered doing all of the supplements too. Like you'd get the box and you get Greyhawk and Blackmoor and Swords and Spells and Eldritch Wizardry and Gods, Demigods, and Heroes. But that wasn't really out when you could go buy a wood grain set in like Geneva. Oh, yeah. Alan, I tell you what, reach out to me on Discord and I will talk to you about Con. Not because I don't want to share it with anybody, and not because I want to be curt or anything like that. I just, good dungeon design is a topic that really goes beyond the 5 minutes we have left. So I've already decided what I'm doing for next year. It's not OD&D related. It is D&D related, but it's not OD&D related. So, you know what? I have a really super duper clean scan of Warriors of Mars that TSR had on sale for like 5 minutes before the Burroughs estate shut them down. I am thinking of it now that I've gotten this to a practice. I'm absolutely thinking about printing up my own Warriors of Mars booklet, which I'll show you guys on screen. A Gamble World rep. Yeah, not those giant boxes, dude. And that big fold out map of America that's like half the size of the Greyhawk map. I'd love to. Don't get me wrong, I would love to. All right, I think that's where we're going to wrap it up, guys. I want to thank everybody for hanging out this evening, for your awesome questions. Doc Flamingo, Bob Gnarly, thank you very much for the super chats, and Alan Canning, thank you very much for the super sticker. I appreciate that. Everybody, be good to each other. I will be back tomorrow night. We will be playing some first edition AD&D. Safe travels to you, Bob Gnarly, as you globe trot. And remember, guys, please like and subscribe. And it's Halloween, so be careful about that trick-or-treater, because they may just be an owl bear in disguise. Peace, good night, God bless, love you all.
Have you seen my owl bear? Here's to all the weirdos everywhere, in the woods and in the air. Have you seen my owl bear? Should I shave off all my hair? Bobs are all around, some live in tunnels underground. Some are fat, some are rich, some are sleeping in a ditch. Can you ride a crooked horse without a saddle, way off course? Naked as a toad, all the way to Smoky Joe's. Have you seen the little creep driving fast in his little green Jeep? He smells like fish and brandy, but his rotten teeth look dandy. Take me to the show, I don't care if fast or slow. From action flicks to dancing dicks, just take me to the show.